All right, cheers. Yes, people, and welcome back to Punches and Pundits. Now, before we start, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are listening to any sort of audio platform, Apple Podcast and Spotify, make sure to download the episode. Now, last night, well, in the early hours of the morning, was UFC 315, headlined by Jack Della Maddalena and Bilal Muhammad. And we'll jump straight into this. Now, before we go into like how the fight was, etc., we were both wrong when it comes down to the our prediction. We expected Bilal's wrestling to be a very, very, very prominent factor in the fight, and it just wasn't. You know, I don't know whether it was Maddalena's takedown defense that improved that much, or Bilal falling in love with his striking a little bit too much. But yeah, I was shocked at how little over 25 minutes Bilal actually wrestled.
It was probably a mixture of both, because you look at Bilal, we were expecting him to take him down, hold him down, and just cruise to a decision. But yeah, he was striking a lot. Even his takedown attempts weren't as good as we've seen in the past. I don't think he got a takedown until the fourth round. So it showed how good.
It didn't keep him down either.
Yeah, I mean, it showed Maddalena's takedown defense. But I think it's a fact that everyone slept on Maddalena, including ourselves. Bilal slept on him. Everybody slept on him. Everybody predicted Bilal was going to win. You know, even all the contenders at welterweight were expecting Bilal to win. You know, you have Sean Brady saying he's expecting a rematch with Bilal Muhammad. Everybody thought Bilal was going to win, but don't sleep on guys at this level, at the highest level, which is the UFC. A guy like Maddalena, a chip on his shoulder. And you could see even in the fight week, you know, he felt very disrespected by Bilal, by the media, by everybody. And what a cracking fight, what a performance. And it wasn't a poor performance from Bilal as well. It was a close fight. You know, it
wasn't a boring fight.
You know, it wasn't a boring fight. He gets a lot of criticism for having boring fights, but yeah, listen, it happens. It's the name of the game. But listen, what's next? You know, we know what's next. Makhachev versus Maddalena. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll be honest, right? Like I said, the big question has Jack Della Maddalena improved his takedown defense to the point where someone like Bilal can't even shoot on him, or once he's got him down, I mean, he was scrambling pretty well. Like, he was getting back to his feet. He like he said in the post-fight interview, I'd catch my breath and then I'm scrambling out. You know what I'm saying? I take a couple seconds to reset and I'm trying to get out of that position. Now, we know that Islam depletes himself to make 155. So you're dealing with an Islam that's, you know, even healthier, stronger, right? And Islam's got hands, and he's you know, like his wrestling's like, we all know where Islam's at. He's number one pound for pound, right? But we've seen someone like a Dustin Poirier stuff his takedowns. And Maddalena's a big dude, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a strong, big dude.
You could say he's a better version of Poirier. You could say that.
So, I think, to be honest, from what we saw from Maddalena up until now, up until last night, everyone had every right to think that Bilal would steamroll him and maybe not finish him, but win a convincing decision, because Gilbert Burns managed to take him down. He's coming off multiple surgeries. That's one thing that we're forgetting as well. He was on the shelf for a year. That's why we need to give him extra credit, because he hasn't fought in a year. He had a surgery. The surgery didn't go well. They had to redo like a different type of surgery, and it was to his arm, right? Because he broke it in Gilbert Burns fight. So the fact that he was landing some serious, I mean, Bilal looked like he came out of a car crash last night as well. He had
See his lip.
Yeah. He had the Robbie Lawler lip. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think that was from a knee or something. But even his striking, and it was the footwork that impressed me the most with Jack Della Maddalena. He was always moving. He was always, you know, not getting pressed against the cage. And how many times have we said, right, when you're facing a wrestler, you want to move, and you'll do that for the first round, 2 rounds, 10 minutes in, and then tiredness sets in, and it's like, I can't move for 25 minutes. That shows how in shape Jack Della Maddalena was, because he was able to move around, not stay against the fence, not entice Bilal to, you know, enter with a single leg or a double leg takedown against the fence, and which he probably would get. Like we saw how many times he done that against Leon Edwards in Manchester last summer. So that's a big credit on the game plan. And like you said, Islam's gonna get the most likely gonna get the shot, which he deserves. There's no doubt about that. Even though 170 is an absolute, I mean, there's so many variants and so many fighters that have got a case for a shot and things like that. But Islam, with his resume, he's been very open about he wants double champ status, something that, for example, Khabib didn't go for out the Dagestanis, and he deserves it. So if they give him that, which I think they will, then that not only leaves 170 in like who's gonna fight who, but it leaves the lightweight division.
He said he's taking the belt up to 170 because he wants to get a champ status. So what do? Topuria versus Oliveira for the interim, or Topuria versus Arman Sarukian for the interim? And do they even do an interim belt? I think because Sarukian has a shout. Because, I mean, he pulled out, I know, with a back injury. But Dana was irritated with him.
I know, but did you see that Sarukian was offered Gamrot, bro? So
it shows where the UFC
exactly. The UFC are very clear that he's not getting no title shot.
But what do you do then if Holloway beats Poirier? Do you do the rematch between Holloway and Ilya? What do you do?
You got Gaethje there.
Gaethje. I don't think that's a compelling fight. I'll tell you right now, Topuria handles Gaethje, no problem.
Serious?
No problem whatsoever. What is Gaethje gonna do to Topuria? What is Gaethje gonna do to Topuria? He can't do nothing to him. He can't do nothing to him. So that's not even a contest. That's not even a contest for me.
Wow.
It's not even a contest. You either do
Oliveira
Sarukian or you do Oliveira. That's it. Those two.
No, it will be Charles.
Yeah, or possibly, if you want to throw a wild card, John Silva, because of his amazing performance in his last fight. But that's unlikely that it will happen. But that's
at featherweight anyways. Silva.
Not John Silva, sorry, Rufi.
Oh.
Yeah, why am I saying John Silva? Rufi. That's like a wild card out there. But then
Rufi's gonna fight Dariush. No, but listen, I think for me it's very clear. So Islam will fight Jack Della Maddalena, and because he's gonna go up, they will do an interim championship, because I feel like regardless, Ilya Topuria, even though he was promised he'll fight for a belt. Now, if Bilal would have won, Islam wouldn't have fought Bilal, so he would have fought for the undisputed. But I don't think they'll make Islam vacate. But then again, if Islam's got a whole training camp at 170, does he really want to go back to 155?
That's the thing as well. If Makhachev beats Maddalena, which I think he will,
he'll want to defend there.
He's not going down. He's not going down. I reckon he still has to cut weight to make 170. That's how big he is, yeah? Once you get comfy at that weight and you can see these guys are not as good as you, there's no way he's coming back down. He's just taking the belt up to have both belts on his shoulder.
Yeah, but
it looks good in the pictures. He's solidified himself as the pound for pound number one.
No, and then
but image, but he's never coming back. Especially if he wins.
So we do lose a potential Islam Makhachev Topuria fight, which was super intriguing. But I mean, you want to talk about car crash? Charles Oliveira against Ilya Topuria is
it's a good fight.
That's an unbelievable scrap.
It's an unbelievable, but
you think Topuria?
You think, unless Topuria does not look the same at 155, which is a possibility because they hit harder at 155. You know, there could be what if Charles is still there in the third round, the fourth round? Ilya can't get him out of there. Then it becomes interesting. But if Ilya can carry that power to 155, we know just the technique. We know technically he's levels above everybody at 155. Now that Makhachev's gone, it just all the question mark is for me is, can he carry his power to 155? And not only that, is he durable as well? Can he take a punch at 155? If he can, then he's gonna smoke them all. That's all it is. When guys go up, that's the only question mark I have. Especially guys at Topuria, guys at Holloway. Does their power translate? And are they durable at the heavier weight class? If they are, then he's a problem for everybody at 155. Who beats a durable and who beats a Topuria at 155 who's the same guy essentially? Who beats him? Other than Makhachev.
I mean, technically, he's arguably the best fighter to look at, to watch. You know what I'm saying? So. He's up there. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I love Charles. But like you said, if Topuria translate and gets and continues to get better, because Topuria's not even 30
It's
yet.
a bad matchup for Charles. If we look at stylistically, it's a bad matchup.
He can't have his chin there to get taken.
And even if he goes to the mats, Topuria is not some scrub on the mats. Of course, Oliveira's better, but Topuria is not a
Maybe
guy
pure
you can just,
jiu-jitsu, but I
but
think
Topuria is not a guy you can just submit like that. You've got to
mm,
be careful with Topuria on the mat. So it's a bad matchup for Charles. It's a bad
I
matchup
think
for
Charles would have to like
He'd have to switch. He'd have to be crisp on the feet, keep it at range.
super Muay Thai
Yeah,
oriented.
none of that knock me down and trying to play possum.
But to be fair,
None of
you
that
saw
stuff.
against Chandler.
But yeah, I know. But Chandler, Chandler. Let's not
Yeah.
talk about Chandler, bro.
Mm.
Don't even mention that guy, bro.
But yeah, no. So that's what I think is gonna happen. Like you said, if Islam's not gonna go back to 155, you have to make him vacate. They made
but
to
give him his champ and then vacate straight away. I think he deserves to at least.
so
At least he deserves the pictures. It's all for the pictures.
okay. So that means because Topuria said he's fighting in June.
Yeah.
By
it's
the
an
way,
international
the
fight.
UFC have announced. Well, we've got everything for 316, nothing for 317, and we got the main event for 318. We still have no news for 317.
When's
Wait.
370 in July?
It's international.
International.
317 is international fight week, no? I think, but so we still don't know. And Topuria said he's fighting on that date. He said he's either fighting Charles or he's either fighting Islam. So Topuria's gonna fight Charles. What it's for, I think, will be the interim championship of the world. That's what I do.
You've got to do interim because Bilal suffered a serious injury to his lip, and he's gonna need stitching for that. Bilal's not fighting until the winner. I don't think he's fighting anytime soon.
Who?
Not Bilal, sorry. Madalena. Madalena.
Madalena.
His face was a bit.
But he's talking about Perth as well. He's talking
When's
about
Perth though? They don't do Perth in the summer.
No.
Perth is
They're
fine.
not gonna fight. Islam's not gonna fight till the end of the year now.
That's what I'm saying. So if Islam's not gonna fight until the end of the year, he can't just hold up 155 until then.
No, Islam's not gonna fight until his 170 championship opportunity. Yeah. The question is, Topuria wants to fight because when was Topuria's last fight was against Holloway, which was in like September.
Yeah. No. So yeah, they have to do interim then. Yeah.
And Charles is hungry as well. He fought in November. He's not getting younger. Charles is like 34, 35 now.
Yeah.
So
Sarukin, where does that leave Sarukin then? He's rejecting the fight.
And that when I saw that, I was like, Armin, that was stupid of you. You should have taken the fight because I'm not trying to be funny. You're in the UFC's bad books. You just are, right? You pulled out a day before. Whether it was justified or not is a whole different debate. But when they offer you someone who's also beaten you, by the way, people forget that. As a you're a fighter, I get you're the number one contender, but you're not really the number one contender. In the rankings, you're still number one, but you're not actually. And you get a win under your belt, even if it's against Gamrot, who has a win. I think it was like 20 times when they fought. That puts you back in a horse. Who you waiting for? You waiting for Gaethje? Are they gonna make Gaethje Tsarukyan? Because Dan Hooker's his injuries got even worse. Mm-hmm. So he's not gonna fight anytime soon, right? So, like, I don't know. They done Gamrot dirty as well. They gave him Ludovic Klein, who's not even ranked yet, and that's a tough fight because Klein's good. You know what I'm saying? So, Armin, that's not a good look. You need to take a fight. You do. Waiting out is not gonna be beneficial for you. I promise.
But even let's go to Makhachev as well. If he does win at 170 against Madalena, there's better fights for him at 170 apart from Topuria. If you forget Topuria, there's better fights for him. You've got a possible rematch with Madalena if it's a cracking fight. Yeah, you've got
Buckley.
You've got the winner of Buckley, Kamaru Usman. But I don't think he'll fight Kamaru Usman. But still, you've got Ian Gary. You've even got Prates, who may be another win or 2 wins off another title shot. You know, he didn't do too bad against Ian Gary. You've got so many guys. You've even got there's so many guys.
Brady.
Sean Brady.
Yeah.
You know, Shavkat, if he comes back and recovers from his injury. You've got so many guys in that weight class where There's better fights from there. I think he should stay at 170. I think he's better suited to that in terms of
I mean,
physically as
if
well.
he gets the belt and defends a couple times at 170, now we're
he's
talking about Islam being like
the GOAT. Forget pound for number one.
the GOAT.
Bro, if he goes up to 170 and does the same thing,
I think the GOAT's immovable.
no. But we can talk of him as being one of the GOATs, but
One of the GOATs or being the GOAT?
no, John Jones is the GOAT.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is,
but I'm saying
top
like
three, top four. Who do you put above him? If he wins the welterweight belt and defends it a couple of times, you can't put GSP above him. GSP didn't defend the middleweight belt. GSP probably had more defenses at welterweight, but when he went up to middleweight, he was a one and done. He won it and retired straight away. Mighty Mouse, the one criticism of Mighty Mouse was he never went up in weight. Do you know what I mean? When he was in his prime, when he was in his pomp, he never went up to bantamweight. He played it safe, you know. So if he is
Islam would have a real argument as to be
bro.
like,
and that puts him above Khabib.
right?
That's what,
Because Khabib never
done it. Khabib for so many years, people were begging him go up, fight Woodley, fight Kamaru Usman. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. Do you know what I mean? So that puts him above. But yeah, I mean it's an exciting time. But you know you sort of feel sorry for guys like Shafkat. I know he's injured, but still Shafkat. You never know when he's coming back. Sean Brady as well. A performance like that against Leon Edwards warranties a title shot.
So now we have to play matchmaker for the welterweight division.
You do
because it's at a standstill.
Brady's
so
already called out Ian Gary. He said if Madalena wins, I want Ian Gary. They've got sort of a personal hatred, innit? Ian Gary sort of.
I like that fight
Because Ian Gary, I'll be real, yeah. Of course, we're all fans of him, innit? Like he's a game guy, but he hasn't really beaten anybody of like it's a top. That's like top 5. I know Prates is quality. We know how good Prates is.
nearly finished him.
But you look at Brady's resume, and you look at Ian Gary's resume. Brady kind of shits on him.
You think so?
Brady's win over Leon Edwards is better than any win Ian Gary has, bro. Leon Edwards, he finished him. Only man to ever finish Leon Edwards, former champion. So,
but would Brady have given Shafkat a fight like Gary did?
You know,
I know Gary.
That styles make fights, innit? But
because I know Gary's still.
Listen,
Gary's argument is that he put Shafkat out of service.
But Shafkat beat him though, and I know what he's trying to say. He gave him we can't be celebrating good losses. Do you know what I mean? Bro, you still lost.
I know, but there's
a clear loss.
There's a possibility that he could fight for a title before Shafkat.
He's just the only man that Shafkat couldn't finish. But that he's sort of using that as a win, but it's not a win. You still have that loss on your record. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, Sean Brady for me should be above Ian Gary.
Buckley, man.
Buckley against Kamaru. That's not an easy fight.
That's a
I know Kamaru. At the end of
I'm gonna be honest.
You think he smokes Kamaru Usman? I don't think he does. You know, 5-rounder. It's a 5-rounder, isn't it?
I think.
What is it? Co-main? Is it a co-main?
No, main.
It's a main.
It's a main of a fight night. Yeah.
Yeah, then you've got that's 5 rounds, bro.
I know.
I will never bet against Kamaru Usman in a 5-rounder. It's hard for me to bet against.
I honestly feel like
it's a hard bet though. Be honest.
Buckley's momentum is on a madness right now. You know, like he's and even just the way he speaks about like how much he wants it. He's hungry.
He's got to change in his mentality.
Like
I think he switched camps.
I don't know what he's done, but like he
guy,
smoked Colby.
You compare him to
he smoked Wonderboy. Like, you don't think there's a possibility Kamaru could be at the end of some crazy ass Buckley blitz? And the thing is, he's not just he's technical as well. He seems like this bulldozer, right? But I mean, you don't want Buckley to be standing across the cage from you and like start swinging these punches, bro. Like, that's a dangerous dude, bro.
No, he can crack.
You don't think Buckley's got the potential of being champ?
Yeah, champ is a shout. It's a bit of a stretch.
Serious?
I don't think there's guys.
You don't think Buckley's better than Madalena?
I don't think he is. You know.
But that's I know, but that's because you.
He's not better than Shafkat. He's not better than Shafkat.
He's not better than Shafkat.
And listen, Shafkat went into that Ian Gary fight with a dodgy knee. So people.
How many excuses are we making for Shafkat?
No, but he did though. He had a dodgy knee and he still won. And we all know how good Ian Gary is. Look at his performance against Prates, yeah? Apart from that 5th round.
The 4th and 5th.
4, yeah. End of the 4th and the 5th. But we all know how good, what's his name, Ian Gary is. So for Shavkat to go in there compromised and still end up winning the fight, and it wasn't a controversial win, it was a close fight, but he won the fight, shows how good he is. So, and I still think Sean Brady's better than Buckley as well. Sean Brady's slept on. His top game, his submissions on.
Who's managed to take down Buckley and control him at 170?
He was getting controlled in 185, not 170 though.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
185, bro. That's a, you know what I'm saying?
He's undersized there, but yeah.
If and I think okay, if he handles Usman, then what?
Oh, you give him the shot.
But I'm saying like, then are you like raw like
Bro,
this
did I
guy?
not say the welterweight division is the best weight class? Can we
shout
both
right now.
agree it's the best weight class now? It's better than lightweight at least. The
Well,
only
now
weight-
that we're not getting to Poirier against
Well, now that Makhachev's going to be there, Buckley, Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad, Shavkat, Ian Gary, Prates, Kamaru Usman. There's more as well. There's more people that I'm not even mentioning.
Prates,
There's so many quality fighters. The welterweight has overtaken lightweight.
Randy Brown. No, there's a lot of people in the welterweight division. Like obviously, like Buckley and Usman are matched up. Brady called out Ian Gary. I think they should. It's almost like a tournament, right?
Makes sense.
Because
But Ian Gary's talking about, I'm not fighting nobody. I'm holding out, mate. Makhachev's now in the mix. You gotta fight Sean Brady now. He has to fight Sean Brady for me. He doesn't have a. And being Sean Brady is a fight.
he hasn't done enough to be a clear number one
Is
contender.
Sean Brady not number one in the rankings? He is, isn't it?
Let me have a look.
I'm
actually.
pretty sure he's number one.
Well, because Edwards was still number one,
Exactly. He's definitely ranked above Ian Gary.
right? Yeah.
So
Ian Gary's
Ian
like
Gary-
6 or something.
Ian Gary needs a win against a guy like Sean Brady to solidify his claim for a title shot.
Right.
Because you can't be calling for a title shot coming off a win against Prates, who we know is good. Prates is not as highly ranked as Sean Brady.
Sean Brady is now 2 because Bilal's gone to 1 because he lost. Shavkat is 3, Edwards 4, Usman 5, Gary is 6, and Buckley is 7.
If Shavkat comes back and he's healthy, what do we do with Shavkat? Do you do the winner of Buckley and Usman against Shavkat?
I'll be honest.
Or does Shavkat get the shot straight away?
Well,
Or does Shavkat even want the shot straight away? You sort of want to win after having surgery. Because it's a big surgery that he's getting. You know, you don't want to go into a fight post-surgery. You know, you got.
I think it depends who's champion. I think if it's
Makhachev's champion.
yeah, I think if it's
You
Makhachev,
gotta do
Shavkat,
Shavkat.
yeah.
Because that's a cracker.
That-
I mean, Max is pretty much undefeated. He's not, but do you know what I mean? That's a mad fight, you know. That's like the pinnacle of MMA. Makhachev versus Shavkat. What a fight.
You don't think Shavkat lost a bit of his aura against Gary, bro? I know you're saying he's injured.
You look human, but yeah, I still think Shavkat's that guy. And we're not respecting how good Ian Gary is.
I'll be real, like Hamzat scares me more than Shavkat.
Oh, for sure.
Why for sure?
Because Hamzat's a guy. Hamzat is the scariest guy in those first 2 rounds. Shavkat's not finishing you in the first round. Hamzat will just take you down in the first round, and see if you can survive that first round, then you have a chance of. Hamzat's a menace, bro.
Talking of which, like
Dracus Hamzat.
that's arguably one of the fights I'm looking forward to the most the whole year, because I know what Hamzat is. We all know what Hamzat
We
is,
know who Dracus is as well.
but I feel like this is gonna be another time where Dracus is just getting disrespected, and like there was rumors about him being injured, and you had. The whole middleweight division was talking as well. Now we got the Ridder as well announced against Whitaker. But the Ridder, oh
Ridder-
my gosh. Quick, before we continue,
What
315.
he did to Kevin Holland, yeah.
No, what he
Sort-
did to Bo
I don't know,
Nickel.
but sort of put him on the map. But I saw him. I think this guy's a problem because Kevin Holland's a black belt.
Bro, he's
you know,
two-weight world champion,
And
bro.
I know. And then he went, and the way he smoked Holland, I thought, yeah, this guy's a problem. And then he made easy work.
Bro,
with
Bo Nickel-
Bo Nickel didn't even belong. He didn't even look like he belonged in the cage. He looked like a novice in there. And the way Bo talks before fights, this title fight was rubbish. I'd finished Dracus in a round. Hamzat's rubbish.
He
They're all
deserved
nothing.
that.
I'm going to be pound for pound number 1. I'm this, I'm that. This is not wrestling, you know. And we see this a lot with wrestlers, American wrestlers in particular, where they come in, they transfer over into MMA, and their wrestling isn't the same. I mean, the only guy that sort of made the American wrestling work was probably, I don't know, DC, who done it at the highest level. Other than that, they've all sort of struggled.
Like Gaethje's a credentialed, but he just
Gaethje's
strikes.
Gaethje's
Chandler.
D1. Gaethje's D1. Chandler's D1. It's different. When you get punched in the face, it's different. And bro, the way Bo looked when he would get hit, it wasn't even. I think it was a knee to the body that stopped him, and
Yeah.
it was in the fetal position. Do you know what I mean? It was. Yeah, it was.
Fetal position is crazy
It
work.
was like that's what I'm saying. So it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how good he is. I can't even say he'll come back because I don't think he will. Because
But he's very
where's
early
the
in
Ridder
his
rank?
MMA.
We know the Ridder's the guy.
13, and they're giving him 5. Whitaker's 5th, I think.
Yeah, because they're realizing how good this guy is. Add
I
the
won't-
Ridder to the mix. You've got Drakus, you've got Hamzat, you've got the
Imavov.
Ridder, you've got Imavov, you've got Strickland,
Borralho.
you've got Borralho, middleweight. Even middleweight division is better than the lightweight division.
Nah, you're shitting on lightweight.
It is
man.
better than how's the lightweight division better than the middleweight division? Look all the names I just listed: the Ridder, Hamzat, Borralho, Whitaker, Sean Strickland, Drakus.
But what? Yeah, I guess if Islam's leaving, Dustin's leaving, Gaethje ain't got much left.
Dustin and Gaethje have always been around, but they've never been undisputed champion. They've never. Do you know what I mean? Borralho for me has a chance of becoming champion. Imavov has a chance of becoming champion. We're forgetting Izzy. Izzy might have a resurgence.
Whoa.
He might have a resurgence. You never know. Hamzat is capable of becoming a champion.
Yeah.
The Ridder 100% is capable of becoming a champion. These are how many possible champions. At lightweight, other than Oliveira and Arman and now Topuria, other than those three, I don't think anyone else is pretty much. And Rufi, I don't think the rest of them are championship material.
You don't think so?
Gaethje's not undisputed championship material, bro. He's a BMF.
No, I hear your argument about middleweight, like the names you've listed, but also
There's new
playing
blood.
matchmaker for middleweight now. It's like Izzy
90.
said he wants the Strickland revenge. So if you book Izzy and Strickland,
You've already got the Ridder Whitaker.
the Ridder Whitaker,
Borralho
Imavov
is-
seems like he wants. You
Borralho
have to make
wants Imavov, but Imavov is acting Hollywood, isn't it? He's acting like he's above him.
bro fight each
But
other,
the
man.
way Izzy fought a guy that was ranked lower than him in Imavov should do the same thing because you're not getting a title shot.
And
And the winner,
Even though he
and the
knocked
winner,
out-
winner of the Ridder and Whitaker could possibly leap
to
you.
skip him, yeah,
So he needs to calm down a bit.
because Whitaker, he did Whitaker fight last. Did he lose?
Yeah, he lost to
Hamzat, yeah.
And before that, he knocked out Alex Kerov, innit?
Yeah, in Saudi, I remember. But yeah, man, this is. I mean, if I'm Dana White didn't even do a post-fight press conference. I was looking for it on my way here. I was like, okay,
He got one that execs to do it. I
yeah.
don't know what that was all about, but
He called Jack Della Maddalena was on the phone to him and Hunter, and he was like, "What, Islam next in Perth?"
he probably had a flight to catch because obviously they're in Canada, innit?
What's wrong, Canada?
No, I'm just saying, innit? He probably had a flight to catch.
But yeah, going back to 315, let's continue the cards.
Dana's a Trump fan, innit?
Huh?
Dana's a Trump fan.
Yeah. Continuing the card, we had the co-main event. Now, Valentina Shevchenko against Manofuro. Now, this was an interesting fight because I thought Valentina's kind of at a place in her career where it's like she's definitely not in her prime anymore, but she also has that sort of experience in these 5-round fights where it's what carried her to the victory yesterday. I think that was a very close fight. Fury had done a lot of good things. But it just seemed to me towards the end that Valentina's experience and know-how on how to win shone through a little bit, and that's what got her that win. But what I do want to see is Zhang Weili against Shevchenko, because at this stage of both their careers, I think Zhang Weili handles Shevchenko now.
Yeah, it's hard for me to.
Well, the
talk
last
bad
time we spoke about
Zhang
Weili, you
but
were
Shevchenko's a different animal, though.
You said Tatiana Suarez is a different animal.
Come on,
What do you mean, bro?
Shevchenko and Tatiana Suarez, you can't compare.
Why?
Shevchenko.
I'm saying grappling. What you were saying Tatiana Suarez is the female Khabib,
Yeah, I
bro.
just thought Tatiana was something different, but Weili is something different herself.
You don't think Weili can beat Shevchenko?
Nah.
Oh my
Nah,
gosh.
Shevchenko, come on, man.
But it's not the Shevchenko of old, bro.
I know, but it's still.
She's lost to Grasso. She nearly lost to Santos, who's not even in the UFC anymore. She's Manofuro. It was arguably 2-2 going into the fifth. Zhang Weili is, yes, she's smaller, but what is Shevchenko going to do? Grapple?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kicks, probably. Keep her at distance. Nick some rounds.
I don't know, man. Like,
Wade is a menace. She's like a pit bull.
bro, she's mad technical as well. Every facet of the game, bro.
Yeah, that's a tough one to predict.
No, it's
I've
not.
got to be careful because Whaley proved me wrong before.
I don't think it's a... I think at this stage, I think Weili could go double champ. I think Shevchenko prime, this is a different conversation, but how old is... Shevchenko's been fighting for time.
Yeah, Shevchenko's not young. Definitely mid to late 30s.
And that whole air of
What
invincibility.
is she? Mid to late.
37 years old, bro.
Yeah.
For a woman.
But she's not taken a lot of damage in her career. Well, she hasn't been really knocked out, not really rocked.
I know,
So-
but she's lost a couple times.
So even
like-
though she's old, her sort of the miles on the clock are pretty low. She's not been in many wars.
I mean, Zhang Weili, other than the first Joanna fight, she ain't been in
How
too...
old is Whaley? Whaley's like early 30s, isn't it?
She's closer to... She's like 34, I think. Yeah, man, like...
So
Split
remember,
decision.
Some fighters are weird. Like they can get better as they get older.
I think Zhang is in her prime.
Yeah.
What she did to Suarez, what she did to
Yeah.
Yang Xiaonan, knocking out Joanna in the rematch, like, bro. Zhang Weili is 35 years old. So this is her peak. Well, ish. But yeah. But another girl who looked really good though yesterday was Natalia Silva, who fought Andrade. Now, I think they'll make the double champ fight because Zhang Weili, Shevchenko, in terms of female MMA, like that's a huge. Those are big names. But Silva, oh my gosh, she is serious, bro.
Andrade has been around for so long, right?
No, she who did Silva fight? Jazz Divisius fought Andrade. Silva for who did she fight? Grasso. Yeah, she fought. And Grasso doesn't look the same now.
Nah.
I don't know what's happened, but the Grasso who submitted Shevchenko then drew. Ever since the fight that Shevchenko and Grasso had at the Sphere, she would look flat, and she looked kind of flat yesterday again. I don't know if that's because Silva looked so good, but she's proper. So I don't know. That's what I think they'll do with that division.
Benoit Saint Denis.
Before we go to Benoit
boy.
Saint Denis, though, let's go to Aldo, innit? Let's give him his respect.
Yeah.
Jose Aldo,
Yeah.
I feel like he got kind of robbed again.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's a weird one because I mean he usually makes 135 no problem, but
Yeah. But you could tell, like...
you could see that probably took something out of him because he was gassing towards the end, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Eamon did all right. It was a close fight, but yeah, you probably have to say
Aldo is 38.
Aldo should have got the nod there, but yeah, it wasn't a bad showing from Eamon, but
It was a bad look for Aldo in the last, like, 2-3 minutes because he was just getting his
I
head
knew he was
pounded.
gonna gas though because it was a tough weight cut.
But they didn't actually go to the weight.
No, but he tried to, and then if he was like, I can't do it. So
Right.
something was up. Something happened because he looks sucked up even at the weight class they fought at. Even at the catchweight, he didn't look good physically. So it was a tough weight cut. But yeah, first to Eamon's a big win for him, and another
Helwani.
contender. But yeah,
No, but
just like Helwani,
but one thing that I just find strange is like the send off that someone like Lionheart got, and then Aldo just put his gloves
But
in.
he's retired in the past though. That's the thing. Has Aldo not retired in the past? Did he not come out of retirement?
Did he?
Did Aldo not? Has he not been inducted in the Hall of Fame? Jose Aldo.
Yeah, he has.
So that means he retired then. You only get inducted in the Hall of Fame if you retire. He retired and came back, so he's almost taking the mick of it. He definitely retired, Aldo.
I think you're right. He
Because
did.
you don't get the UFC will not put you in the Hall of Fame unless you retired. And I even remember the walk-in. He was crying on the walk-in.
Yeah. On September 2022,
He retired. He retired and now he's come back. So he did get a good send-off. To be fair, he got Hall of Fame inducted. He got inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but I think this is officially his last fight. I don't see him coming back. But yeah, what a career he's had.
Of course, legend.
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 So big up to him.
Yeah.
The rest of the card, yeah, going to BSD.
Yeah.
Now, I told you
It was first round, wasn't it?
second round.
Second round arm triangle.
But you know how like when I was saying watch out for this fight and Alvarez dropped out. Alvarez would
have beaten that version of Benoit.
Alvarez would have he would have murdered BSD. The BSD that we saw yesterday, because I'm not trying to be funny. The guy that he fought was just, I get it. I respect it. You're calling, like, the guy dropped out. Someone needs to step in. They just got someone from the regional scene who has, I think he fought in the UFC like 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. But you could see it was different level, right? But like, Alvarez would have smoked the BSD we got. So I'm not
What was
here.
the injury, Alvarez? Was it a serious injury? What was it?
I don't actually know. I don't know if it's been this close.
I mean, it's not good for Alvarez because he's been on a good run.
Yeah,
and
this was like
a name as well, so he would have been.
He would have announced him. He could have announced himself as like one of those upcoming 155ers.
And 155 needs some new blood.
Yeah, so
been good.
Like, but like I said, I'm not gonna go to a point that's to say that BSD is back or like he's not. That's not the BSD we saw starting smoking people on the run before Poirier. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell he's still a bit tentative. He was letting the other guy punch him as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, grappling-wise, there was a massive gulf, right? Especially in the first round, and he was trying to find the choke. But then in the second round, he was just like, all right, sod this, bro. Like, this guy can't hurt me. I'm just going to move forward. And if it was a higher caliber guy, he would have got knocked out doing that.
Yeah, because that wild style will only take you so far. When you've got clinical
snipers,
when you've got a sniper in front of you, you can't be winging shots like that. They're going to clip you. You saw the way Poirier knocked him over, check hook.
Yeah, so...
Roofy, imagine what Roofy would do to him.
Oh, Roofy would...
Imagine he comes in like that against Roofy. Roofy would have just sniped him easy.
Wait, he would have knocked him out. Do you know what? Down the line, that Alvarez-Roofy fight would be a great fight.
Even do Benoit Roofy. I think Roofy's ready for that.
Well, Darius shouldn't. I think that's the fight they want to do.
You see Brad Katona getting knocked out.
Yeah,
the uppercut.
What about the Silva? He had to go on a stretcher. That one was not looking too good. But I think
Brad Katona, I remember him because he moved to Ireland to train.
Yeah, he was in.
And he won the Ultimate Fighter as well.
Yeah.
And
he's a gamer though.
Was a nasty knockout. I think he went for the takedown. The guy just timed him with the uppercut, flattened him. He went limp. I think it was one of the early. It might have been the first fight. It was an early fight on the card.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it was the first fight on the card on the early prelim.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
So
and
he knocked him out. I just remember seeing that. That was
Mike Malott against Charles Radke. Yeah. Mike Malott. I remember.
It was Al Makan. I did it. This Al Makan, I've heard him before. He beat somebody.
Al Makan fought Umar.
Exactly. And he was a last minute replacement.
Yeah. And he gave Umar a decent fight because I think he dropped him.
That's a potential contender, you know. Al Makan.
What, from like Kazakhstan? Them not there. They're built different.
Yeah. I mean, those guys.
But yeah, Mike Malott against Charles Radke. Obviously, there was Charles Radke talks mad smack, and obviously it was like USA against Canada. Malott just, do you see how he flattened him? Like he gave him the extra punches to the dome. So Malott. I mean, Malott's there and thereabouts. I think when he had the chance to break into that welterweight. He is a welterweight division, like top 15 and whatnot. He slipped against Magny. I remember he beat him up for 2 rounds and then he just got tired and Magny finished him. I was so pissed because I had him in my parlay. I remember, but yeah. So that's another good win for him. Modestus Bakauskas as well beat Kutalaba. I think that was a robbery. I'll be honest. Like, I like Modestus. He's from round here. He's from London and whatnot. But I didn't think he won that fight. I'll be honest. Quickly running through Navajo Sterling decision. He nearly finished Urslan. He looked good. Another guy from the Contender Series, Marc-Andre Barrio against Bruno Silva, knocking him out. Daniel Santos and Brad Katona. Overall, I think the event was.
Yeah, it wasn't the best card. Let's be honest. It started well, with a lot of finishes, but yeah, sort of just.
But then again, going back to the main event, like the main event was better than
was a
I
cracker,
anticipated.
yeah. I'd give it a 7. 7 out of 10.
Considering the fighters on it, I thought it could have been like a 3 or 4. Like it could be one where you're like, and I'll be honest, it hit like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, but there wasn't many main card fights. But the main event, I was like, Madalena looks good. So I was like, damn, Bilal really might like. Madalena might change UFC's whole plans, bro.
Yeah, that was a surprise for me. Going back to it, yeah, I just did not expect him to do anything against Bilal. I think Bilal had the momentum. It just shows, man, Madalena, don't sleep on that guy. He's not.
But it's also, yeah, I'm not trying to be funny. You know how like we talk about when you're champion, you get better. When you finally get your title opportunity, we see people like, whoa, like he's good, but like just like Bilal against Edwards. Like Bilal's good.
You step up to it.
He step
Maybe
up.
Bilal underestimated Madalena.
That's why I say I think if Buckley gets a championship opportunity, he's the type to live up to that. So whoever he's up against, I could see him beating. Just like
Bar Shafkat. I don't think he does nothing to Shafkat. A Shafkat pre-Ian Gary Shafkat.
Shafkat's. I don't know. He needs to figure out his.
He's young as well, Shafkat. You know.
How old is he?
Early
31?
30s, maybe late 20s.
He's not late 20s. Shafkat is not late 20s. No way.
Shafkat is not old.
Shafkat Rakhmonov age. Let's see. He's 30 on the dot.
Told you. Late 20s, early 30s. He's very young.
But
So-
Ian Gary's like what?
Ian Gary's I think similar age. Actually, no, yeah, maybe late 20s.
Okay, so they're like the new gen.
Yeah.
But why are we acting like Buckley's old? Buckley's not old.
Buckley's in his 30s. He's not old, but he's in his 30s.
Gary's 27.
Yeah, late 20s.
Damn, Gary's
That
got
might,
time.
bro.
Gary's got time. Hey, and then let me see Buckley, age, UFC. Let's see. He is 31, so he's basically in his prime.
They're all in around the same age, but yeah, the welterweight division. Listen,
It's
some
madness
fighter,
right
bro.
now.
You got to give it. You look at heavyweight. You look at weight class like light heavyweight. There's nothing going on. Pereira apparently has been hacked. He's calling out the UFC.
Yeah.
And Kalaev and Pereira. And Kalaev saying it was me that hacked your account, trolling him. And Kalaev and Pereira, that's the only fight to make. But other than that, what else do you do at that weight class? It's such a tired weight class.
Well, I mean, Hill and Roundtree are fighting each other in
Yeah.
Azerbaijan.
And then you've got Umberg, or whatever his name, Olberg, sorry.
Yeah. But even his win against Blavic,
Was a
like,
bit-
was
it
contentious.
wasn't even, yeah.
You know what division we're not talking about though? We're not talking about bantamweight, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Sanhagen with a good win
You know what I'm saying?
very recently.
Sanhagen cooks Figgy.
But then what do you do, though? I mean, you've got to give him a shot. But then Peter Yan has a win over Sanhagen, so... You know what I mean?
Peter
But
Yan
then
wants to
Peter Yan-
fight
He
ASAP.
wants to fight Umar.
You know,
But Umar's saying...
you
he's
know,
got a
Peter
hand
Yan
injury.
might fight McGee, bro. McGee's ranked
He wants
13.
Umar, though. He called out Umar. a Russian
Umar
affair.
doesn't want to fight till the end of
Umar's
the year.
hands...
I know, but Umar can't fight
He wants to
until the end of
recover
the
from his hand injury, innit?
And Peter Yan wants to be active, which I respect. If Peter Yan gets a fight, then
What does he fight Sonia Dong? Sonia Dong just
they're
beat-
fought.
Oh, they fought. And who won?
Peter Yan.
I mean, it's crazy. Sonia Dong just beat Cejudo.
Bro,
And then-
just before that fight was
yeah.
Yan. And Jan's fought everyone, bro.
Yeah, Jan man need to move up.
But what was he doing at featherweight?
Just move up because you
Nah, bro.
you fought everyone.
That's like the Pantoja argument about moving up, bro. Pantoja ain't doing nothing at 135.
How tall is Pantoja?
5'5".
He could slot right in. Because
To who? You think Pantoja does anything to Marab?
But Figueiredo can go up in weight class. Why can't he? Do you know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
Figgy
Figgy can crack.
Figgy can crack. And Figgy
powers-
was dying.
Yeah.
Figgy was dying every single time. How many times did he miss weight, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Pantoja's a grappler. You're grappling against people that are bigger and stronger than you. I get that Marab's only like 5'6", but he's built like an immovable object, bro. And that's our next pay-per-view. Bro, Sean O'Malley's career is on the line right now. You know that, like,
Yeah,
no one's
but-
really deep in it, but he can't lose he can't lose again.
He's gonna be a big underdog, huge underdog, but we'll see because it's you can't really bet against Marab. You can't.
Not right now. No,
You
you
cannot
can't.
bet against him. And if Marab can beat O'Malley again, you've got to put where's he in pound for pound list? He has to be up there. Marab's resume is insane. Marab has one of the maddest resumes in the UFC.
Bro, his win against Peter Yan, like, it's still like
Peter Yan, Cejudo, Umar Nurmagomedov, O'Malley. If he can add Sanhagen to that, we're looking at an all-timer at bantamweight.
bro,
The resume
all
is insane.
timer.
The resume is insane. You've got to put him on the pound for pounds list, especially if he beats O'Malley twice, and then if you give Sanhagen the shot after.
Yeah, I
Because-
mean Marab is just moving mad.
Bro,
But yeah, no, O'Malley, like, we know he's like the golden goose for the UFC, especially prior to the Sphere.
I mean, he still has the edge on the feet, but Marab's pace and takedowns, I don't think he can stop it. And that's the thing.
The only guy who I thought would be Umar.
Yeah,
And
but even,
Marab
he
beat
did
him.
for a while, but
You know his
Marab's still
takedown
going
defense
down.
is very solid. Sanhagen, bro.
you're right.
Maybe
but
not against Marab, but
his offense is poor against wrestlers. That's his problem.
we
He's
saw
so
that against
worried about the takedown.
we saw that against Umar.
That he doesn't let his hands go, which is understandable. But it's just gonna be a fight where he just stops the takedowns, doesn't do much on the feet. It's gonna be a frustrating watch for Sanhagen fans. That's what I think will happen if he fights.
Yeah,
Marab.
because I'm looking at the rankings right now. So Marab's champion, Sean O'Malley is #1 contender, right? So they're fighting each other. Then you got Peter Yan at 2, Umar at 3, Corey at 4, Song Yadong at 5, Figueiredo at 6. Yadong and Sanhagen have fought each other before. Sanhagen finished him by Dr. Cut, I remember, in the Apex. So he's got a win over him, but like, man, if I'm Sanhagen, am I guaranteed the next shot? I know Marlon Vera's fighting Bautista on the next pay-per-view.
But Cheeto's a
Factor, yeah.
non-factor. Yeah, Cheeto's nowhere near a title shot.
Marcus McGee, obviously Zahabi's there. Montel
What about
Jackson.
Rob Font? What's Rob Font up to? What's he up to these days, that guy?
Yeah, he fought against that guy that came in short notice, no? Matsumoto. He was meant to fight someone. I forgot who he was meant to fight, but he's 8. So he's there and thereabouts. Cejudo's 9. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Bantamweight's kind of died a little bit.
It's just they just have a dominant champion, so it's not as exciting. That's all it is. But that shouldn't take away from how competitive the weight class is. It's just Marab's a freak, and he's probably one of the most dominant champions in the UFC right now. Bar Makachev, not even Ilya, because he's got more defenses than Ilya. Who's a more dominant champion than Marab in the UFC? That's other than Drakus. Pantoja and Drakus and Makachev. These are the only guys that can sort of chat to him in terms of dominance. Nobody else can say they're more dominant than Marab. The guy is a freak, bro. And he's not getting his respect. And I only think he'll start getting his respect.
No. Marab's got his respect now.
No, he'll get his respect when he beats O'Malley again. I think he'll beat him. And when he beats Sanhagen, because I think he'll beat him as well. Then he's cleaned up the whole weight class. Or at least the top guys.
Who's the bantamweight GOAT as of right now?
It was Aljo.
Really?
Yeah. It was Aljo. Aljo's resume was mad. But Marab's...
Yeah, TJ Dillashaw as a champion.
As a champion. Look at Marab's resume.
Peter Yan. Yeah.
Has Marab beaten TJ?
No,
They haven't
they didn't
fought.
fought, no.
Aljo beat TJ.
No. Marab fought Moraes on his come up.
Moraes, Cejudo,
Moraes nearly finished
O'Malley,
him that fight,
Umar.
man.
He still beat him.
Yeah.
Umar. He's a freak.
Going
Featherweight's looking alright as well. It's looking alright. I know Lopez lost, but it wasn't a bad loss for him. You've got some good contenders there. You got
Gene Silva, bro.
Gene Silva. You got. I always forget this guy's name. I don't know why. Why do I always forget? Yair Rodriguez against Lopez. They'll probably do that fight. They have to do that fight.
Yeah.
Guadalajara. There's going to be a card there soon, isn't it?
End of the year, I think.
So they have to do that fight. You've got Keita. You've got Aljamain Sterling.
Evloev, bro.
Movsar.
Allen, Ortega, Leroy Murphy, Sterling.
Allen, Ron Murphy.
David Onama's now ranked. Who did Onama fight to get him ranked? He just fought like the other week, no? Oh, Chikadze. So he beat Giga.
Chikadze as well.
Yeah. Gene Silva is 11. I'm very intrigued to see who they give him next. Ortega, maybe. That'd be Ortega might get.
Ortega, that's another name. I'd say featherweight's better than lightweight as well.
Damn.
I'm not
You're
even
naming
hating on
all the
lightweight.
divisions.
Yeah, bro, lightweight's just washed. You see McGregor putting out clips, warming up. What do you think of that? Does that have a comment?
He does that every time, bro. I think someone tweeted like, it's like sponsors tell him to do like a little clip. That question mark kick. You see that clip?
He's looking stiff though, McGregor, isn't it?
No, that question mark kick was clean though.
No, but I'm saying though, his training footage is looking a bit.
He's
Like,
playing
that comes
football.
with-
He's
that comes
playing
with
11-a-side
age,
football.
Yeah.
Bro, he's balling
too,
out.
He's too big now. That's the thing. He's not the same.
Yeah.
He's putting too much muscle. He's not, that agility's gone.
But yeah,
Your boy Aspinall's still getting shagged.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
If they do make that fight, when it has to be MSG in it. I mean, there's no cards left. It has to be MSG.
November. That'd be a long time.
Or Vegas card in December. Cause
I thought we would get it in summer, and it just doesn't look like we are. November time. If I'm Aspinall, that is so long. If Aspinall ends up having to fight for like Cyril Gane, bro,
he's the longest reigning interim champion in the history of the sport. The UFC are the only people that do interim belts, but the longest reigning interim champion in UFC history. Who did he overtake? He overtook somebody. Henan Barao, I think.
Yeah.
He overtook Henan Barao, who was the interim champion back in the day as well.
Yeah.
I think it was because or Dominic Cruz was injured for so long or something like that. But Jones ain't even injured. He's just hugging the belt, and this guy's getting disrespected. You know, it's disgraceful.
Losing his prime years, right?
Bro, everyone, they always talks about how the boxing model's a disgrace, it's this, it's that. Bro, I've never heard a boxer be a number one contender because...
Or like a mandatory.
Or mandatory, sorry. The interim belt is the equivalent of a mandatory in boxing, yeah? Have you heard of a mandatory in boxing for over a year?
No,
that would never happen. That would never happen. So the whole narrative around boxing, the UFC being better than boxing, it's really not. Especially now that Turkey's around. Bro, it's
dropping
not.
bags.
I'll be real, yeah. The UFC, and there was leaked salaries for that Canelo card. Did you see it?
No.
Canelo got 80 million apparently.
80?
Apparently Ryan Garcia got 20. Devin Haney and Tio.
But even if we could look back at Eubank and Ben, bro, the bag they got.
They definitely made bread. So these guys are not even selling 1 million pay-per-views. I think the Eubank did, but other than that, they're not really doing 1 million buys, and they're still getting hefty money. So yeah, I don't know, man. The UFC is sort of falling off in that regard because to have a guy like Aspinall who's not just your typical interim. It's not like an interim champion that no one rates or an interim champion that's boring. He's possibly the most skilled fighter on the roster, one of the most talented fighters, lowest fight time, a knockout artist,
submission,
speaks well, has a whole country behind him. Why are you not giving him a shot?
No, they want to, but
they have to force him though. They have to force John Jones. How's John Jones got so much authority over Dana and the matchmakers where they can't even get him to fight? It doesn't make any sense.
Because they don't want to strip him because they want that fight so badly.
But it doesn't make any sense though. For me, it doesn't make any sense. Like, bro, the UFC needs to start flexing. Remember when Conor McGregor tried to show up to a few press conferences late for the Diaz rematch that was initially meant to be UFC 200? And the UFC were like, yeah, you're not fighting on the card no more. They kicked him off the card and they moved him to 202. Why don't they do something similar to that? Or give him an ultimatum?
Because this is Jones's last fight.
Because it's a disgrace, bro. It's actually a disgrace at this point.
I think there has to be a cut-off point. And every time you listen to Aspinall, he's like, we've had conversations.
At this point, I just want to see him fight. I don't mind seeing Cyril versus
No.
I wouldn't even mind seeing that.
I want to see...
It look good while it's on the feet. And then the moment Aspinall takes him down, the fight's over. But on the feet, it's a fun fight for how long it's on the feet.
Bro, we need John Jones Aspinall. That's the only fight to make.
We want it. Aspinall wants it. Jones don't want it. But you know what's funny as well? I think Jones wins. That's the funny thing. And I'm going to get destroyed in the comments. Probably.
No. Why would you get destroyed for thinking Jones?
Because these people, they get emotional, innit? If you pick against Aspinall and if you pick against Makhachev, those are the two fights you can't pick against, innit? I think Jones wins. And it's funny because He's avoiding
Or
the fight.
Hamza, if you pick against Hamza.
Yeah.
But
You can't pick DDB to win. I think Hamza will win anyway, but you think Drake's going to win, which is not a bad
whoa, whoa,
shout.
whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not saying. I
He
think
thinks
well,
Drake's going to win.
No,
in the
no,
ring.
no, no. But I think DDP gives him
Of course.
the hardest fight of his career.
Put
Bar
it this
Gilbert
way:
Burns.
if the fight goes past 2 rounds, Hamza's in trouble.
That's gonna be,
That's
bro.
fair, that's fair.
That's really like one of my most anticipated scraps because like DDP, if he gets Hamzat's scalp, bro, he's in the convo for like, you want to talk about resume that Marab's got. DDP's resume, bro.
Izzy, Strickland, Whitaker, Hamzat. Yeah.
Till.
Yeah, you've got to say, I mean, middleweight goat's a bit stretched because you've got Anderson Silva, but yeah.
But what more does he need to do?
If he continues, I mean, yeah, Drakus is a problem.
Drakus is a
Where's
mad
he on
guy.
pound for pound?
He
up
should
there.
be top 5 or like 6.
Yeah, he's up there.
Something like that. Just to close off, we got 2 events in the next 2 weeks. I think they're both at the Apex. Actually, they're not super great. But the main event is Gilbert Burns against Michael Morales, who's one of the younger guys in the welterweight division. Kind of
If Gilbert loses, where does he go? He's in trouble, isn't he?
just podcast full time, innit?
Bellator, PFL probably. PFL card last night as well. I think the night before.
I think Morales is now 17 and
You
0.
see the PFL?
Oh, Paul Hughes. Yeah, before we finish,
Belfast.
give him Nurmagomedov again,
Yeah,
bro.
1 minute though. Is that? I know it's a 1 minute knockout, but is that a good showing for him? I mean, he's gonna get a rematch, but is it a good showing for him to fight?
Bro, that just shows
It's
that
Usman, I mean,
the only one that needs to be in the octagon facing him is
yeah.
him.
You know what's crazy as well?
Mm.
People are not talking about this, but now that Makhachev's gone up to 170, that means Usman's coming to the UFC. They were always talking about that as well. They were always talking about Usman coming to the UFC because he's good enough to go straight into a title fight, in my opinion. Yeah,
Is he?
in my opinion, he's good enough.
So what's Paul Hughes then?
Now, Paul's quality as well, but like he's
you
good.
you think
For me, he's good. He's good enough to compete for a title.
so? Paul Hughes is
you
Paul
look
Hughes
at-
got the quality to be a top 5 fighter.
100%. The lightweight division's not stacked anymore. It's not the same division as it was before. I think both those guys could come in and be top 5 straight away. This is not a case where you're getting Chandler coming across. These are high level fighters. I don't know how many fights Usman's got left on his PFL Bellator contract, but now that Makhachev's gone up, they're pretty much brothers. Yeah, he's gonna try and get the belt because the UFC is where they want to be. Those fighters from Dagestan, and Paul Hughes as well. Get him in, another Irish fighter. You know,
But he's quality, you know.
you got Paul Hughes now. You got Ian Gary. You sort of got a new crop of Irish fighters coming through, which is
Different styles, but
good.
but yeah, so Morales against Gilbert Burns, also on that card, Paul Craig, Rodolfo Bellato, Sadiq Youssef making his lightweight debut, and there's a few decent fights, and then the week after is Eric Blanchfield against Barber as the main event, and the co-main's Gamrot against Ludovic Klein. Gamrot might be the fight that gets done dirty the most, like, on the planet. So good luck to him. But that's it for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to watch out for the clips of this episode that we'll be posting on the Punches and Pundits TikTok and Instagram. And make sure, like I said at the beginning of the video, to like and comment and subscribe on YouTube. And if you are listening on audio platform, make sure to download the episodes. We're out. Peace.